Hi, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of Measure Workshop. In this lesson, we'll complete the template that we started last time and add the measure to a report so that we can see the measure in Analytics Portal. As you'll recall, last time we defined the numerator and denominator parameters, and now we'll complete the measure and add it to an existing report. Scrolling down to the bottom of the page, the first option in the Measure Result and Metadata section is concerned with the expression of the measure result. There are 5 options here, so let's review those briefly. You could select percentage of event D instances with an instance of event N choice to get the percentage of ED visits following a discharge. This is the option that we'll ultimately want to select today, but let's go ahead and review the other options so you have a good idea of the choices that are available to you. If you wanted to measure the percentage of hospital discharges without an ED visit, you would select the percentage of event D instances without an instance of event N. It's a useful option, but not what we want for this particular measure. If we select elapsed time in days between event D and event N, the measure will report the average number of days between the discharge and the first ED visit. This option is also very useful, and it would be applicable to the measure we're creating if we were interested in seeing this particular metric. The Event N numeric property option gives us the ability to select a field that we want to average for the measure result. For example, if we wanted to know the average payer paid amount associated with the ED visits, you would select this option and then the payer paid amount field. The final choice, ratio of event N numeric property to event D numeric property, enables you to select fields from the numerator and denominator objects to express the ratio of the numerator's field to the denominator's field. Now, the measure's name is already specified, but we can update it in the Object Properties window in just a moment. The measure's nickname is what will be displayed on the measure's chart. It can be at most 50 characters, and for this measure, we'll go with the nickname ED visit following hospital discharge. The measure's identifier is something that needs to be unique within the system. The Ursa Health Technical Services team uses the following naming convention. First, we start with a 2 to 4 character alpha-based token. So for a set of measures related to ED visits, we could just use the token ED. We'll then add a dash and a 3-digit numeric identifier, like 001. Using this convention, our measure identifier is ED-001. Next, we'll specify the measure's domain. Domains are used to categorize measures, and they're customizable in Metadata Manager. This list contains our standards. The measure we're building is a goal measure, so we'll go ahead and select that option. Finally, we'll specify the measure's target direction. This is the direction that indicates improvement. For our measure, we will select the Lower Measure Values Indicate Improvement choice because the decreasing percentage of ED visits would show an improvement. For measures without a target direction, you can select the Measure Values Do Not Reflect Performance choice. Now that we've completed the template, we're able to review the measure specifications that we just defined in the Preview window. When you're satisfied with the specifications, you can select Create Measure all the way at the bottom. You'll then be redirected to the Measure Workshop screen, which we'll explore in detail in upcoming lessons. Before saving this measure, we need to update the measure's name. The template generates an appropriate name for the measure, which we can overwrite completely or simply specify the details in the Event D and Event N placeholders. I'm going to replace the Event D placeholder with Hospital Discharges and I'll replace Event N with an ED visit. So now the measure's name is among instances of hospital discharges, the percentage with at least one instance of an ED visit within 14 days following the discharge date. At this point, we can save the measure, which redirects us back to Measure Workshop's home screen. You might be wondering, so where is our measure? Measures can be viewed in Analytics portal once they've been added to a report. So I'm going to add the measure we just created to an existing report so that you can see how this process works. First, I'm going to select the Report Manager link from the left-hand navigation panel, which takes us to the Report Manager screen. Next, I'll use the search bar to locate the Hospital Admission Analytics report and open it by clicking on the report name in the table. Now that the report is open, I can add the measure to the report by locating it in the Add New Measure filter and clicking the plus sign. Once our ED001 measure has been added to the report, we can save and run the report by selecting the respective icons. This screen provides an overview of the status of the report that we just ran. Once the report has been updated, we can select the View this instance in Analytics portal link, which will open the report in a new tab. Here in Analytics portal, we can view and explore the measure with all of the tools available in this zone. That's it for this lesson. You now know how to create a measure from a template, add it to a report, and view it in Measure Explorer. In the next lesson, we'll begin an in-depth review of the options available in the Measures Properties screen. I look forward to seeing you then.